Hey, so one of the things I hear all the time when it comes to marketing for your business is how frustrating it can be to invest in marketing and or trying to find new leads, trying to find new customers through any variety of channels, whether that's a direct mail piece or Facebook ads or Google ads or trade shows. There's so many different ways that we try and find leads to grow our business and feel like we're wasting money because it's not getting us the return or results that we want. And I know just how frustrating and aggravating that can be. And that's why I decided we're going to do something about it. So we put together this guide and today's training to help you put that to rest and help you get the results that your business requires. So with today's training, if you need a copy of the worksheets we're going to go through, if you're watching this video on my website, just click the link below to download your free copy. Or if you're watching this on one of my social channels, just drop a comment and we'll make sure we reach out to you to get you a copy so you can work through and get the results that you really should, because it's really tough to grow a business purely on just word of mouth or referrals. And why is that? It's because those kinds of leads and sales are great, but they can come in waves. I mean, because they really require somebody else to take action. So you don't really have the control you need to dial up and dial down your business the way you want it to, when you want it to, because it requires somebody else again to take action. And so they can come all at once, or sometimes it can be a little while in between. And so what we need is for you to be able to really have control over when you're getting your leads. And that's going to come through marketing, but we want to do it in a way that isn't feeling like you're setting money on fire, you're flushing it down the toilet, you're pouring it down the drain, or any of those, pick whichever analogy you want. Instead, we want to help you save money when you're marketing and get the most possible return out of any channel you choose. So that's what we're going to work through today's training. Again, download the worksheet below, or just drop us a comment if you need a copy, and we'll walk through just some of the 6 key steps for how to get that done. Sound good? All right, let's get going here. All right, so step number 1, I want you to take a look at some of your more recent marketing collateral, whether it's an email campaign or anything that you've done recently to try and grow your business, and ask yourself really the kind of the first key question, which is, does it have more than one call to action? This is one of the key mistakes I see happen all the time, because we're trying to give everybody options on how they can respond and how they can take action to respond to what we're asking them to do. We put too many on there. Maybe it's pick up the phone and call today, or it's email here, or click here, or mail in this piece. There's so many different types of call to action that we may invite people to do, or book a spot on my calendar, or schedule your free consultation, or schedule your free in-home estimate. Because there's so many on there, people get confused and they're not really sure what action to take. And as a result, there's decision fatigue, and your prospects or your prospective customers will suffer because they just will decide, well, I don't know what to do. I'm just going to set this aside and not really, I don't want to make up my mind now. So I'll just put it aside and not do anything, and it just collects dust. So first thing, pick really one call to action per marketing campaign, or per initiative, per collateral, or per initiative, or per focus. Make it easy for someone to make a decision to take the next step with you. So let's talk about, so again, on the worksheets, as we work through, you've got a chance to be able to map out what your next step is. So really use the do this to take some action to get this done. If you want to take the time aside now to do it, pause this video and jot this down, and then get ready to go with step number 2. Now, once you've decided to look at your call to action, I want you to answer, really, does it do one of these 3 following things? We're going to unpack some of the ones that are most common. So whether that's maybe your call to action is to go to your website. So if you're doing that now, one of the key mistakes is people do just that. They decide to direct them to their main website. This is a problem. Okay, if you send someone to your website without any specific place on it, your website is really just a virtual digital brochure of where they can see and get distracted by all the different places and things they can go. So instead, don't just send them to your website, send them to a squeeze page or landing page or product page, somewhere really specific to drive some immediate and direct response, where there's really only going to be one, and there should only be one thing to do, like perhaps even the page you're on right now to get this worksheet, which is to request something below, or to become a lead, or provide some information to get something of value, or to take a next step. So really, that's one of the key things. If the initiative you're doing when it comes to marketing is that the right step is to direct someone to a website of some kind, or to take them somewhere online digitally, and make sure there's really just one thing to do on that. Make sure it's a specific landing page or product page or squeeze page. So that second thing, if your call to action on your given marketing initiative is to invite someone to make a phone call, okay, rather, what I see again, another key mistake happens way too often is they just send them to their generic phone number, a one number fits all kind of thing. Well, where that becomes challenging is that how are you going to be able to track and gauge what calls are coming from what? How many calls are coming from the thing you invested in to drive those calls, or just people are calling you because they found you organically on Google, or because they had your phone number from something else that was done in the past. So rather than just send them to one generic phone number, use campaign specific or marketing specific phone numbers that you can track. Now, if you don't have the technology backing to do that, there's a couple other alternatives that we can walk through later in the worksheet on how to do that. But whether that's using campaign codes or coupon codes or discount codes that people can ask for when they call, that's one of the easiest ways to do it. So when people call, they say, yeah, I want New Year 10 to get 10% off. And so okay, well, if they saw that code, then that's they came from this campaign or this specific thing that I invited people to do. So that would be one of the next steps, ways to be able to track it. If you don't use a specific phone number that you can track, then invite them to use a code. So the third thing that you might decide as your call to action, it might be to book an appointment, either for a free consultation or an in-home estimate. So one of the other key mistakes that I find when people send, when the call to action is to go to book an appointment, is that they get to that page where they can book appointments and there's multiple options. There's 4 different types of consultations, or it's 4 different service types they can choose from. There's lots of different ways that they can decide which type of service. And as a result, because again, there's too many options, they get confused, or at least some percentage of your customers are going to get confused, or they're not really sure. And so they'll decide just to not book at all. So instead, okay, leverage a system that's going to make it really easy for someone to take the one specific action and book the one specific appointment type that you want them to do, or that you invited them to do, or that you marketed them to do in the first place. Okay. So again, leverage that. There's lots of tools that are available on the marketplace to, again, facilitate that. If you're not sure which one to use, or if you don't have that one now, then let me know and we can certainly reach out and get you help to get that done. Okay, next key mistake. And again, there's a couple other bonus tips inside the worksheets as you go through the rest of this guide. So again, area number 3, are you running your campaign without any kind of automation or follow-up system? This is another key mistake I see happen that will lead to, again, you wasting your money when it comes to marketing, because not everybody says yes the very first time. Not everybody is ready to buy. In fact, the data shows that only 1% of people are in that buy now state. They're in that ready to go, I'm ready to buy today. Instead, they're usually somewhere in the 99% of people are in this, well, should I even buy this today? Or maybe I've decided I do want to buy something, but now I need to figure out, well, why shouldn't I buy it? They go through this journey, or this psychological process of deciding, well, should I do something now? Should I do it later? What are the reasons why I shouldn't? Maybe I can just do it myself. So you need to be able to have a way to communicate with people and your prospects beyond just the moment that they decide to first see your marketing piece, or the moment they first decide to become a lead by providing you an email address or making a phone call. And that's going to come through your CRM or customer relationship management system. So again, if you have one now, great. What I invite you to do is take a look at it over the last month and decide, well, how many leads does that produce for you? Is it working as well as it should? And are there some things that maybe need to be tweaked or optimized? If that's the case, then again, you know what to do. Drop me a comment, let me know, reach out, and we can do a quick assessment to see if we can help get that to perform at a better level. If you're not using that yet, and you're using the old pen and paper method, or some Excel sheet somewhere, or just something that's really manual, where you or your team has to be the one to remember when or who or how often to follow up and make those reach outs, then let's use technology to automate a lot of that, to simplify it, and to make it so you can really scale it to a better level, and again, convert as many of those leads as possible into the sales that you should. Otherwise, again, you're not going to get as much revenue from that marketing expense or that marketing initiative, and you're going to be, again, burning money when you shouldn't have to. Step number 4. All right, let's move on down. All right, are you only promoting or using this campaign or content in one channel? I've seen this happen way too many times. So you don't have to be the expert in everything. But what I see as a key mistake that happens way too often is you'll take the time to write one email to promote a sale or promote a product or a service or something, and that's it. You won't use that same energy or that same campaign on social media or in direct mail pieces, or at a trade show, or anywhere else that you're promoting that same thing that you're trying to get your customers to buy. When instead you can take that, I'd rather work smarter, not harder. Okay. If you're going to take the time to decide what you need to do to market your business, or what kind of product or service you want to promote, let's take a critical look at how you can leverage that same effort across all the different channels, all the different ways you may be able to bring customers in. Because they may find you online, or they may find you in a direct mail piece, or they may find you in social media, or somebody else, or a referral partner from one of your other referral partners or business partners. But they may not decide to take action then, but they may see it somewhere else, or they may have the opportunity to then look you up or research you somewhere else after they make that initial point of contact. So again, leverage and have that consistent campaign message across all the different ways you can bring people in. Rather than, again, just do it on one, make sure you're leveraging that same, do it once and amplify it, rather than feel like you've got to create something new across every single way you could possibly bring customers in. Next. All right, we're almost there. Okay. Now, again, if you've gone through this far and you feel like you need to take some time to assess and evaluate each one, again, pause this video now and go through and optimize each of those first 4 areas before you move on to this next one. Again, I want to make sure you get as much value as possible out of this trading. Okay. Now, next, let's go to number 5. Once you've hit play again. Okay. Do you know your break-even cost per lead for what it is that you're trying to accomplish with this marketing expense? Again, whether this is a Facebook ad campaign, or direct mail, or a billboard, or you're going to invest money to travel to a trade show, whatever it is, online or offline, you're investing money in to market your business and get new customers. Again, do you know at the onset what your break-even cost per lead is? So that's going to be a key number. So you need to have a little bit of a way to gauge, what's my number? How much do I need to get out of this to make sure it was worth it? Or how it compares to the next time I go around, next time I try this. This is a key data point you need to be able to track. So going into it, before you spend the money, there's a couple quick ways you can do some of this back of the envelope math. Okay. It's quick and simple stuff. Okay, so the first thing would be, all right, let's say that that the particular marketing initiative is going to cost you, as an example, $2,000, and what you sell is $200. That's your primary offer. Well, it's not too hard of a stretch to think, okay, well, I just need to sell 10 of these to be able to break even. That's the number of sales you need. But let's figure out, well, how many leads do you need to make that work? It's like we talked about, it's not everybody buys right away. So let's make another evaluation on how many leads you would need. That's going to be a factor of, well, what's your conversion rate typically from every lead that you get? Okay, so we've got a quick way to be able to walk through that math in the worksheet. Let's say you've got a $2,000 direct mail piece, and you average $200 per sale. You need 10 sales to break even. Okay. You break even with 10 sales, but you convert, let's say 20%. So 1 in 5. So if I need 10 sales to break even, I'll need 5x that, or to be able to get those. That's how I know how many leads I need. So that's 50 leads to break even. Let's divide that $2,000 by the 50 leads you needed. So your break even cost per lead is just $40. Now, it's good to know that for that channel, for that expense, or for that initiative, your break-even cost per lead is $40. Knowing that is going to really help you make the right kind of decisions as to whether or not you should move forward with that channel, or at least how it performed after the fact, or compared to other ones you've done in the past, or as you start to compare it against other things you might do going forward. Some things are maybe more expensive or less expensive on the front end, but how do they convert down the road will help you really make the right decision for your incremental or marginal marketing dollar. Okay. So that's step 5. Again, make sure you know your break-even cost per lead. All right. Last one. We're home stretch, everybody. All right. Let's make sure you calculated your lifetime value, your customer lifetime value for this. Okay. Again, another key step, another key way to evaluate, making sure you're making data-driven decisions with your marketing money, because I know it's not infinite. So let's make sure you're spending it wisely. So this is a little bit of a different calculation, but one that's really important to help, again, drive the success that you need. So let's say, as an example, again, using that same $2,000 marketing expense or that mailer, if on average you're selling something for $200, but someone does buy from you, let's say it's 3 times a year, I usually use a 1-year lifetime value model. So that would be on average, if it's that customer who spends $200 3 times in the course of a year, they're worth $600 to you. So let's evaluate that same $2,000 mail piece, direct mail piece, or marketing campaign. If it's going to get you customers that are worth 600, you only need 3.33 customers for that initiative to break even on a lifetime value basis. Get a little bit different than understanding your cost per lead. So again, let's look at an example now. Some of you, maybe you're selling something that's a little bit bigger ticket. Again, ideally, if you're selling garage doors or HVAC, or you're selling an HVAC system or something that's, or a roof or whatever, that's a little higher cost, then hopefully you're not doing that. They're not replacing and buying from you every single year, right? So instead, you'll want to use a customer referral rate as an example. So if they're not buying from you more than once per year, but in this example, let's say that your customers refer you to somebody else 20% of the time. So rather than one purchase per year, you're getting 1.2 from each of those. So you take that same 1.2 and multiply it by your average sale. That's going to give you a better idea on how much revenue you make per customer per year. Okay. Now that's the number you can use. And then again, compare it against what it costs you to get those customers from that marketing channel, that marketing expense. Again, I got a quick way to help be able to understand and evaluate what your break-even customer count needs to be using this lifetime value model to understand, okay, good. Am I making a good decision or not? Am I going to be making the most out of this marketing campaign as I should? Okay. So that's kind of a quick overview of those 6. Again, inside the worksheet, we break it down a little more detail as to how you can get the most out of any marketing expense, or at least appropriately evaluate. Because what I don't want to see you do is, and one of the common mistakes that happens is that too often, because we're not really sure or using the right data to drive our decisions, we're not using some of these other tactics or strategies that we've talked about in today's training. You'll either stop something right before it's about to turn the corner, or you won't even make the investment in the first place because you're not confident or not sure how well it's going to play out. You don't have the systems or the processes in place that are going to get you the most customers possible, the most leads as possible, the maximum return that you need to be able to grow your business. I don't want that for you. I want you to be able to grow your business successfully and grow it in a way that really matches your goals for the year. So if you need any help with this, again, drop a comment below. We'll reach out, or you can shoot me an email, send me a direct message, and we'd love to be able to help you implement some of these strategies, some of these tactics inside your business. We'll talk to you soon.